Hola, bom dia. This is Carl Munson of expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show. How are you today? Do please let me know how you're doing. These are very, on one level, very confusing times, as I will share with you in just a moment as we do our best to catch up on where we are with the COVID measures here in Portugal. We'll also take a look, as we always do, at the weather this morning, and we will be singing the praises of Portugal once more because, let me just quote from the portugalresident.com this morning, Portugal and Algarve named Europe's leading destination and beach destination at Tourism Oscars. A whole load of awards for Portugal a couple of days ago, 26 in all, and we will be looking at those in some detail. Actually, quite a lot to get through this morning. Had a lovely evening last night in the company of Laura, whose starter screen you'll have seen just then if you're an early bird to the show. Her wonderful schist cottage, which she told us all about on the expat chat show last night on the Portugal show. It was so wonderful to chat with her. She stepped in at the last minute and told me about her story of coming to Portugal. A little bit of Portuguese blood in the ancestral veins there. Her grandfather was from Portugal, from the Porto area, but she decided about a year ago to settle in Goiás, the wonderful village near Goiás, the Goiás municipality, and told us all about her restoration project and life in that part of the country, all sorts in there, history, culture. And I imagine after last night's conversation, a few more people want to live in Goiás now, and I wouldn't blame them. A few comments coming through. Eugene and Paul here. Come back to you in just a minute, fellas. Lovely to have your company this morning. Really appreciate it. This is a community show. I was thinking about that because I was feeling some sort of responsibility to update you on the COVID measures. And I have to say, it's so massively confusing that we're going to have to figure it out together. I can't just say to you, oh, this is what you need to do, because I'll show you in a minute. There's about 10 pages of what you could do and probably what you can't do. So let's work through that together, shall we, in a little while. First of all, let's stay on quite safe ground, uncontroversial, I was going to say. You never know, though, with the weather, really. 15 degrees at the moment and clear in Lisbon. I think it's going to be a beautiful day across Portugal today before the rain comes back again across the country. Okay, so 15 degrees in Lisbon. 18 degrees the high today. A nice mild and sunny day in the capital. Cloud tomorrow and then the rain coming back. Similar picture in Porto. Lovely day today, cloudy day tomorrow, and then the rain returns on Thursday. Currently 11 degrees in Porto, a high of 17 to be anticipated there. In Coimbra, 11 degrees and clear at the moment. That's my weather pattern. Looking like a lovely day outside the Good Morning Portugal studio window. 11 degrees. I haven't looked at my own thermometer for a little while. Isn't it weird how we put our faith in trust in humans we don't know around the world telling us what the weather's going to be like when I can actually stick my own head out the window and look at my own thermometer? Yes, therein lies a sign of our times. Coimbra 11 then, high of 19 degrees today. Yes, central Portugal, 19 degrees. Cloudy day tomorrow and then the rain returning on Thursday, not unlike the rest of the country. And you folks in the south not getting the best of it today for a change. You've got all the awards, but you haven't got the weather today. Overcast. Did that sound a bit gloaty? I didn't mean it to. Faro overcast and 17, not very mild, and 22 the high. So a nice cloudy day, if there is such a thing, if that's not a contradiction in terms. But yeah, dry, cloudy, 22 degrees, but the rain coming for Faro for a week or so. By the look of it. So make hay while the sun shines today, everybody, except in Faro where it'll be a little bit cloudy. So there's your weather. I think we'll probably finish with the Parabéns Portugal for the awards that have been won. There's always one thing with so many things to consider. There's always one thing I seem to forget. So I forgot to put up the day of the week, didn't I? So it's going to be a terça-feira for you today, third holiday, third day of the week, when we consider Sunday being the first, and 3 de novembro. So let me just pop that up on the screen so you can see that. Seems only right. Terça-feira, dia 3 de novembro today, and as usual, open to nominations. I quite like looking at the word as a palavra do dia today as parabéns. You may say it from time to time, obviously in a birthday context, And if we get round to it, we will refer to a lovely little blog I found, the Portuguese language blog. Excuse me, it doesn't look like it's been updated very recently. However, there is some timeless information on the many uses of the word parabéns, which I think will be useful to share with you. So let us just see how you're all doing this morning. Lovely to hear from so many of you. Eugene, bon dia, Carl. YouTube I've been having sound issues, haven't I? But I think that's sorted itself out now on YouTube. The YouTube experiment, I think, is going very well. Let me know if you agree. Hi or good morning here in England is. I think I don't quite understand that, Diogo, but I think it sounds like you're having 2 weeks off, which can only be a good thing, right? But if you're a Portuguese person in England, hardworking as you are, 2 weeks off probably means you're down from 3 jobs to 1 for a couple of weeks. Is that right? I've never known probably Portuguese and Polish people, the hardest grafters in Europe, I would say, if we're giving out awards for such things. Hola, bon dia, Carl, from a cloudy and cool Eastern Algarve. Loved last night's chat. Me too, Paul. Wasn't she great? So fantastic. And the invitation is there. I think that format works. It was a phone-in style. You couldn't see any moving pictures. There was no movie last night on the live stream. Just like a chat on a late-night phone-in with Laura, who was in Goish. And that formula, I think, is a useful one. We passed an hour talking about her whole journey and her adventure in her house and that part of the country. Anyone else want to do that? Get in touch. I like to think I'm an easygoing sort of interviewer, really only interested in getting in the best out of people and them having an interesting and enjoyable conversation. If you want to do that with me, and obviously it's in front of this lovely crowd here as well, who will ask questions as well in their endeavors to enjoy and settle in Portugal, just drop me a line for the expat chat. Let's do some more of those. All I need to know is like where you're from, and you need to know a little bit about where you're from, and obviously you know about yourself and your life, and boom, the job's a good one. We can spend up to an hour chatting about that. Doesn't have to be an hour, just as long as some useful information comes out for half an hour. I think it's a nice format, and it was obviously enjoyed last night. Thank you, Paul, for that feedback. Sorted now on YouTube. Fantastic. Bon dia, Carl, from Andrea Pereira. It's more confusing in the UK depending on where you live, and it's raining. Yeah, this is what's happening now, isn't it? So it's just sorry to hear there's rain in my native UK, and I think we do have to take our hats off to you that you probably do have the most confusing situation at the moment, Andrea. A reflection of the politics often, isn't it? The policy is a reflection of the politics and those in charge, supposedly. Bright and breezy here in the land of the falconer. Garvo, when you put it like that, sounds very majestic. And I see you stood on a precipice of a sort of mountainous area with your full-length leather coat on and your gauntlet held out as your falcon returns to you, having surveyed the high and lowlands of Alvaiazra. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning from Sintra, guys, from Druba. Sound is great here on YouTube. That's fantastic to know, Luis. Thank you. Dominique Core, I beg your pardon. One of the cores. Bon dia from San Martino de Porto. Lovely sunny morning here. Yeah, I can just imagine. I'm very fond of San Martino de Porto if you're a regular. And I imagine that the morning there, perfect for a little promenade along the beach. Fabulous. How come I missed that? Luis, no problem. It is. It's going to be on YouTube as one of our programs. You'll be able to hear that again in due course, and I think I'll publish it as a podcast as well because it was superb. Luis, you have not missed out on anything, and perhaps you would be one of my guests in the future. All right, so let's endeavour to make some sense here. Actually, no, I've got a weather warning first for you. Not a weather warning, but more of a rough seas warning. A yellow level, 10 districts of mainland Portugal under yellow level rough seas warning. The AMN, the National Maritime Authority, alerted this Monday to a considerable worsening of weather conditions and maritime unrest on the coast of the continent between the next morning and 1800 on Wednesday. That's why I'm telling you. So 3-day alert here and recommends permanent surveillance at sea and coastal areas. Be careful then, Dominique, at San Martino de Porto. Although with your lovely scalloped bay there, you'll just see in the distance, won't you, through that the neck of the scalloped bay there. You'll see the rough seas out there that we're talking about here. So IPMA has placed 10 coastal districts under yellow level rough seas warning and 3 in Lisbon, Coimbra and Leiria for high winds. So there is a high wind warning as well, folks. The forecast of wind and sea conditions indicates a considerable worsening of meteorological conditions and maritime unrest in mainland Portugal between dawn of yesterday, Monday, and the 3rd of November. Oh, today, sorry. Beg your pardon. Oh no, the 3rd of November and until 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Okay, so yes, as you were. So the warning expires at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. In an official statement that was released yesterday, the forecast points to sea agitation with undulation coming from the northwest quadrant with a significant height of 5 meters. Pete will be there surfing again, with the maximum height reaching 8 meters with an average period of 13 seconds. To me, I translate that as one word: choppy. Precautions, in addition to the state of permanent surveillance at sea and in coastal areas, AMN and the Navy also recommend tight surveillance. Would that be tight end surveillance, I wonder, Gary, for moored and anchored vessels to avoid trips by the sea, such as jetties and pontoons? Stay away from the sea, folks, I think is the basic information until tomorrow night, which I suspect is the vanguard of that rainy weather that's coming our way. Bear with me. No, there isn't a bear with me. I'd just like you to bear with me for a moment while I have a sip of my British tea. Oh, lovely as that. Thank you. Right. I still haven't found my Azorean tea yet. I foolishly, I think, looked for it in Continent. It's a bit more of a specialist item. The Madeira and rum and the Azorean tea, I think those are pretty special products that I need to source. If you do know, I mean, if you're someone who enjoys Madeira and rum, tell me where you got it from. If you're a pirate, like a Portuguese pirate, with your Madeira and rum, let me know where you got it from, because I would like to enjoy some of that. And also, yes, Azorean tea, which it's the other end of the sort of culture spectrum. At the one end, you've got oh yeah, Johnny Depp, goodness gracious. And then the other, you've got the very refined, the regal Portuguese, because of course it was a Portuguese queen. She became an English queen, didn't she? But she was a Portuguese queen, Catherine possibly, who introduced tea drinking to the UK. You'd imagine, wouldn't you, that it was invented in the UK, a bit like cricket and cucumber sandwiches. But no, the habit of drinking tea came from Portugal to the UK, to England at the time. And the tea from the Azores, I want to find. I think there are only 2 tea plantations there now. There were many before, but if you found that product, do let me know where you can get it from. Hold on a minute. Talking of drink and rum, I've stimulated Eugene's incredible imagination. Are we on the drink? The drink for tonight's election man cave. Man cave, drink. They're kind of synonymous, aren't they, Eugene? I suspect the answer is yes. We'll get final confirmation from Frank, who will be popping in, I think, as a gloating Canadian, possibly as one of his roles tonight, looking at the American election coverage that we're doing from 10 tonight. Donna Jacqueline, good behavior, because Donna Jacqueline will be with us tonight from 10, giving her expat elder view. She'll have seen 1 or 2 American presidential elections, and she will give us her wisdom on that and show us how to stay calm as well. It's one of her important jobs for the community here. So Donna Jacqueline will be with us. So certainly for the first hour or so, good behavior, and then we can move on to the booze after that. Eugene, to answer your question. Okay, yes, San Martino de Porto is looking pretty rough beyond the neck of the bay there. So yes, be careful out there, as I said before, with that warning, the sea warning. Bon dia from a Silver Coast, blustery, choppy day here, Capitan. Nice one, Will. Or was it my pirate impression that caused you to call me Capitan? Terence, on the other hand, is perched out on the ladder like some overconfident mountain goat, painting round the window frames. In some very blustery conditions. Be careful up there, Terence. He won't rest until you give him the 3rd Barcelo Award. Of course. I mean, to me, he is just he's a Hall of Famer, Gary, not just a Barcelo Award. What he does for you and your house and Linda, and painting up there on those extended ladders, to me, I take my hat off to him. The hat gets blown off today in these conditions, but he's a Hall of Famer. Please tell him that, but be careful telling him that. Don't get him too excited while he's 50 foot up a ladder. Okay, so this stay awake for this. This is an interesting lot of text, and I promise you I won't be reading it all, for obvious reasons that we're about to find out. And we will finish on a high note of the tourism awards. Okay, this thanks to safecommunitiesportugal.com. No disrespect to them for what I'm about to attempt to articulate and my opinions about it. No disrespect to anyone, in fact. I mean, this is where we're at right now, isn't it, with COVID? confusion. I think it's easy to get confused. I'm not suggesting anyone is trying to confuse us, by the way. That's for others to speculate upon. But look, here we are looking at the resolution of the Council of Ministers 92A/2020, which would obviously sound quite bureaucratic because these things are, and they have a protocol to go through with these things. Let me return to this so that I can see it properly. I need to get some glasses, I think, but probably not in Portugal. Hee. Okay, look, these are the 121 municipalities that are under different measures, I believe, because it varies. Why? If I were to try and sum this up myself, and I do want your help on this, I certainly don't want you to see me as like, Carl says we should do this at this stage of the pandemic. We're all grown-ups. We're all responsible for our own lives. And this is an attempt to inform your opinion and your view such that you can take responsibility for it, okay? And what I love about, as you know, because I talk about it a lot, what I love about the Good Morning Portugal community is that we all endeavor to help each other. This is a focal point for people supporting each other. In the broadest sense, it's about, us expats being connected here with an English-speaking news and weather and features thing in the morning. But other people watch it as well from around the world. Portuguese people watch it because they like to stay in touch with Portugal, and people who want to move to Portugal also tune in to find out what we're up to here. That said, I do see it as a kind of hive mind thing rather than me telling you, this is this and that is that. Let's not get into that. Okay, that's old fashioned. In the new world, we take responsibility for it. The new normal is taking responsibility for yourself. But my opinion about this is that we are in a state of calamity at the moment. And I think in other parts of the country, there is something of a state of emergency, more of the measures of the state of emergency in the areas of highest concern. And that's quite a few. Look at this massive list here. Obviously, I'm not going to read all of those out, but those are the higher risk places at the moment where extra measures are in place, which to me look a lot like the state of emergency style of measures, although not a complete lockdown. More than calamity, less than lockdown is where I would place it. And obviously this is subject to change. And then I'm scrolling down and I'm scrolling down and I'm scrolling down and I scroll down some more and then I scroll down to an attachment, Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, and then about teleworking in closed facilities. And we're still only about a quarter of the way through, folks, of these measures of things that you should and shouldn't be doing. And on it goes, and on it goes some more guidance about every possible thing. Not every possible guidance about a lot of things, fairs and markets, public services. This, understandably, I'm making a point here that I think it's getting a bit confusing. And you have to be extra vigilant in all sorts of ways now, not just, making sure you wash your hands and you social distance, you wear a mask. You have to do a bit of research before you leave the house, I think. And maybe I should put this link up on the, for some of you, you will want to have a look at this. I think for others, you definitely won't, and you'll take your chances. But it is so huge, this list. I guess the first thing to do is to check if your municipality is in one of these higher risk areas. And a few of our listeners are, I know that for sure. Palmela, Fundão, Aveiro, Santarém, Sesimbra, Setúbal. These are all on the higher risk areas, 121 of them. And I think we're nearly near the bottom now. But just to give you a sense of the scale and the work that's been done to protect people and to try and manage this situation. But I think the point made there that it is extremely complex at the moment in terms of rules and regulations. And I don't know. If you wanted to take a sort of, what would be the easiest thing to do? I suppose the easiest thing to do would be act as if there's a state of emergency still. But, this is the thing what I'm talking about with the hive mind. Let's talk to each other about this. Let's figure out, if you get stopped or challenged or anything like that, let us know and let us know why. And then that can inform other people's movements and behavior, can't it? But look at this incredibly huge document here. Check it out for yourself. This is a current situation of calamity. SafeCommunitiesPortugal.com have done incredible work, but really there is so much detail in there that, if you want to just go about living your normal life, it would really seem like it's not as simple as that. So yes, Louise is wanting the link, so I'm posting it in there now. This to me has always been a very safe and reliable place to go, and I'll put that in there now. Safecommunitiesportugal.com. There's the full link for you. If you need to know, which it sounds like Louise does, and actually teach me, Louise or Louise. I think Louise. I'm going to go with Louise, with the Portuguese spelling of and the sound of Louise as I am familiar with in the UK, Louise. You can give me a phonetic pronunciation, if you will, in the comments. So yes, please, need the link. I fly into Lisbon Sunday. So there you go, Louise. And I know if you are flying in, obviously you don't have to. The weekend restrictions that have just passed were lifted this morning at 6 o'clock. So there isn't that municipality kind of lockdown or restriction of movement anymore. And obviously, when you fly in, you've got to go to where you live. I suppose something I would add to this idea that we're somewhere in between calamity and emergency is carry whatever information you possibly can on you, like your residencia, like your passport, like your driving license. I think that's going to bode well. That's going to be good at the moment whilst moving around, is to have your means of identification, certainly a reference to your address and where you're resident. And in that circumstance, I would hope you would get moved on quickly, establish who you are, where you're going, and I imagine you would be moved on quickly. But anything that does happen to anybody that you think we should know about, please do let us know here on this morning's show. So it is Louise. Thank you very much, Louise. I made a real meal of that, didn't I? Okay, another comment, I think, from Will. When you hear of a plague in an area, do not enter. When you hear of a plague in your area, do not leave, except to get toilet paper. That's one way of looking at it, Will. That's very Python-esque this morning. Oh, goodness. And these times, certainly calling for humour like that. We have to laugh, don't we, as well as be concerned at the moment. Oh, I see. Okay, so Louise doesn't know where she's going yet. A new hashtag is "This could all end in tears." Well, actually, what I would recommend for you, what the prescription I would give for that, Louise, is listen to the interview that I did with Laura last night. Go right to the end, and I ask her the question: what would you recommend to people who want to move to Portugal and to get the best out of their Portuguese dream and adventure? Her answer is brilliant. Just fast forward to that if you need to. It's absolutely wonderful, and it is the perfect remedy for the hashtag, the new hashtag, "This could all end in tears." I think you're going to be fine, Louise. And I certainly didn't mean to scaremonger you this morning. That is not my intention or my business here on the Good Morning Portugal show. We're here to help and support. And part of that, I guess, is letting you into like information that might be useful to inform that picture. If it goes towards being frightened or scared, that was not my intention. All right, let's keep talking if that's the case. So onward in that spirit then to some great news that's come through for Portugal in the last 24 hours. Portugal and the Algarve named as Europe's leading destination and beach destination at the Tourism Oscars. And let's have a little wander through this, shall we? If I can share it with you on my screen. Parabéns, then we will go with that. And I'll finish off with telling you a little about its many uses. Parabéns to Portugal. Congratulations on this. And it should be showing you on the screen now. Let's have a look. Yes, perfect. From the Portugal resident, and as I often, I was going to say from our favourite writer, Natasha Don, from our favourite publication, The Portugal Resident, is Michael Brujo this morning. Thank you, Michael, for this. Portugal and Algarve named Europe's leading destination and beach destination at Tourism Oscars. Portugal has emerged as one of the winners of the European edition of the World Travel Awards, the WTA. The country has brought home 26 Tourism Oscars, including the prizes for leading destination, which is Portugal, the country, and leading beach destination, the Algarve, which I think I've said about 5 times now, but you get the message, I hope. And it's a bittersweet award, isn't it? Because obviously tourism has been dealt a savage and cruel blow this year, but it's still good to know that going forward we have this. And I did just use the phrase "going forward," for which I apologize. And whenever I say deep dive, also forgive me and any other sort of corporate nonsense that might slip into the show currently in common parlance. It is the 4th year in a row that Portugal has been elected Europe's top destination. Yay! If I had an applause jingle, I'd be playing it. It is with great pride that we receive this award in this atypical year, said Secretary of State for Tourism, Rita Marques. It is a show of international confidence for our destination and an acknowledgement that Portugal's attributes remain intact. Always good when your attributes remain intact and ready to be discovered by anyone wishing to visit us, respecting at all times the rules set by the authorities. That's a good caveat, Rita, the Secretary of State added. Meanwhile, the Algarve was named as Europe's #1 beach destination for the 7th time. To receive this award and continue to deserve the trust of travellers from all over the world in a year as troubled as 2020 is a sign of confidence for the future, said Algarve Tourism Chief João Fernandes. As he pointed out, the distinction shows that the region is not only a great beach destination, but also a safe one. Yeah, indeed. Making sure the Algarve remains a safe place for tourists has been a main goal for the Regional Tourism Board. And yeah, the news from the Algarve is good, isn't it? In the world stakes of how things have been affected by the pandemic since the start of the pandemic, he said. Receiving this international award proves that all our hard work was worth it and that the Algarve is able to adapt to new circumstances without giving up the quality and authenticity of the experiences that can be enjoyed here by the tourists, the tourism boss added. Elsewhere in Portugal, Porto was hailed the leading city break destination, marvellous, while Lisbon was elected leading cruise destination and cruise port. I have mixed feelings about cruises, I really do, with the amount of pollution those ships belch out. But, I understand for many people that's a really cool holiday as well. And it brings people to Lisbon. The archipelagos, and I have asked people how to pronounce this before. Now I've forgotten. I'm going to go with a archipelago because I quite like that. It sounds like sort of a Spanish Scottish guy. Archipelago of the archipelagos. I'm going to go with now of Madeira and the Azores were granted 2 accolades: leading island destination and leading adventure tourism destination, respectively. Several private companies, hotels, and resorts throughout Portugal also brought home some prizes from the award ceremony. Loads of them. And the only one I think I've been to there, the only place I've been to on that list is the Dunas Douradas, the Golden Beach, the Golden Dunes, which is a fantastic beach down in the Algarve that we found. Oh, leading lifestyle hotel worthy of notable mention there. The Pestana CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo's, he's known as CR7 here in Portugal, obviously. So the leading lifestyle hotel, he's picked up an award for that, which he can celebrate whilst I don't know if he's still in quarantine, but he was tested positive and he made his feelings about the PCR test known. He wasn't happy about it, but there you go. You got an award there, Cristiano. No, that's the only one I can see that. So loads of hotel and resort awards for Portugal as well. I won't read all of those out, but that's such good news. Thank you, Michael Bruja, for that coverage, and parabéns. Well done, Portugal, for your for all those accolades, for all those gongs. Fantastic. Anybody saying anything about that? So I've got the correct pronunciation of archipelago from a Scotsman. It's have to see as archipelago, lad. Will has found me an amazing guest, Emma and her son, who's I think he's Josh, the son, yeah? Emma and Josh are going to be performing either on the morning or evening show, but they are a hoot, and we're looking forward to them being reunited. Thanks, Will, for your work on that. We really look forward, having seen a video of Emma, and if it is Josh performing, it's going to be a lot of fun when they join us on the show, and a nice little bit of upbeat, light-hearted entertainment to soothe and calm the likes of Louise, who says, I hadn't frightened her, she was already petrified. I really feel we can help you with that. We need to do something about that, Louise. Come on. Yes, the first thing I would say is you're headed to Portugal. So that's going to be an improvement straight away, isn't it? And then I think you'll be able to breathe out once you're in this marvelous country, which it sounds like you might be a native of already anyway. I don't want to be teaching you how to suck Portuguese eggs, do I? Ovos. I don't know. It's difficult to say to people who are petrified, calm down, isn't it? Because it's not the right thing to say. But I do hope, sending you lots of love and best wishes from this on behalf of our community here for a safe journey and an easy entry and movement in this country. And may your dream home and may it find you soon, and you find it. So let us know how that journey goes. Tune in, and we'll do our best to support you in this process. And I don't want to make light of it because I know it is difficult as well. It can be stressful, can't it? Even though it is a dream adventure, it does have its stresses as well. We all know that as expats and explorers. So all the best with it anyway, Louise. Finishing finally then today with word of the day. Let me put that up inside the Palabra do Dia slot for you. I've chosen it. No one else came forward. So it's yesterday's was coleta, the Palabra do Dia, chosen by Pete because he was collecting, harvesting, and probably roasting chestnuts over there in Castanera de Pera. He gave us a lovely view of expat life yesterday, didn't he, and what he'd been up to at the weekend. Today's parabéns, which is what you will hear if it's your birthday, most likely. Parabéns a você. And I don't know the rest of it, but happy birthday to you, parabéns a você. And we will look now at the many other uses, because I was concerned when I said parabéns Portugal, as you can see on my show screen there, if I was saying happy birthday to Portugal rather than congratulations. And it can be used in a number of contexts, most obviously as a birthday greeting, but I did use it correctly to say congratulations to Portugal on all those tourism awards. And we go now to transparent language, the many uses of parabéns in Portugal. This is over 10 years old, this blog, but I'm sure it still stands, and a nice little language resource here. Thank you to Transparent Language for this. So the many uses of parabéns, written here by Rachel. Parabéns, as you may know, means congratulations in Portuguese, but unlike in English, it is used much more frequently in Portuguese on an everyday basis. Let's take a look at the many usages for this now. And your homework today is to put parabéns in your conversation. Let me know how you get on tomorrow. Obviously an easy one if you know somebody with a birthday, but try it anyway and see where else you can use it today. Let me know how you get on tomorrow. Like in English, we use parabéns for special occasions like weddings, anniversaries, and births. Parabéns nosso casamento. Congratulations on your wedding, for example. Parabéns nosso casamento. Birthdays, hoje é meu aniversário. Today's my birthday. Parabéns, straightforward, happy birthday there. However, you can also use it to say good job, well done, in a quite an American way. Good job. Or to compliment somebody. Let's go into those. We can use this word to mean good job or well done on an activity or a project. Parabéns, o texto ficou ótimo. Good job. This piece is great. Ganharem o jogo. Ganharem o jogo. Parabéns, you won the game. Well done. And as a compliment, here we go. Similar to the previous usage of good job, well done, we can use the word to compliment someone's work. Gostei muito do seu blog. Parabéns, I really like your blog. It's great. Have you ever said that to anybody? I love your blog. Parabéns, adoramos a pintura. And we might say, actually, this is what you need to say, Gary, to Terence, who's painting your house, as you know. Parabéns, adoramos a pintura. Congrats. We loved the painting. I need you to know how that went. Because, of course, Terence is not just a house painter. He is a fine art painter as well. He has beautiful paintings of the San Martino Bay that we mentioned earlier in the show. So there you go. Some parabéns. The palabra do dia is parabéns. And there you go. Some lingo to help this morning. I'm just going to have a quick sip of water before we conclude. Get any comments you wish to make in now. We're about to conclude, folks. Portuguese water. How lovely. Okay, so we are finishing off now, and thank you for that pronunciation. Archipelago. Sorry, I did it wrong, didn't I? Even with the pronunciation guide. Archipelago. See if I can commit that to memory. Probably not. Bon dia, Carl. Back in circulation, says Jeff Leyland. Where are you? You back in Portugal or not? Chestnut festas must be starting soon. Folks sharing nutritious fatty nuts going into winter back in the day. It seemed to be a way of making sure everyone got through the winter. That's the Portugal I have come to know and love. Yes, that makes a lot of sense, Will. And I'm seeing that too. So first of all, we begin to see the harvest, don't we? We see the incredible amount of nutritious fruit ripening and maturing, falling from the trees, the madronias, the persimmon fruits, the pomegranates, all so rich in vitamins and minerals, getting us ready for the winter. Now the walnuts and the chestnuts are here as well. They're being roasted. The fires are on, aren't they? The stoves are burning and the houses are getting warm. The damp is being chased out. And you're absolutely right. This is the harbingers, the heralds of autumn and winter, aren't they? And it is the Portugal I am coming to know and love as well. Well said, Will. Well said. And Johnny, hello. Good morning to you. Bon dia. Parabéns, Carl, with your shows. Congratulations with the shows. Nice use of that's Johnny's done her homework already. The show hasn't ended and she's delivered her homework. Yes. Cinco estrelas to you, Johnny, this morning. Well done. Parabéns to you for that. For those of us just learning, could you say parabéns really slowly, please? Parabéns. Sorry, I was just being silly there. Parabéns. Parabéns. Now, you're a brave woman asking me to give you lessons on pronunciation, but people have understood that better than a lot of things I say. Parabéns, because I suppose people just are attuned to it, right? Parabéns. Like the ingredient, like the unholy ingredient, I understand, of some cosmetics, shampoos and the like, parabens. It's the same word, but obviously with a very different meaning. Parabéns. Hope that helps, Cindy. Obrigada for being there every day to share, teach, and bridge the world. Oh, Lisa, thank you so much. That's really lovely of you to say that. Lisa, I love your name. Lisa Sat-David Jennings. Being here to share, teach, and bridge the world. Thank you. You've got me there. And I'm so glad. That is really my intention here, Lisa. So thank you so much for acknowledging that. I really appreciate it. And yes, please do join us again. Your company is most welcome. Hello, Carl. Sorry I'm late. Bon dia. Sally, come on. No need to apologize. You can always watch it on catch up. You're here now. That's the main thing. And welcome. Plenty of mushrooms to be picked and dried as well. And another hallmark, herald of the autumn and winter. Mushrooms to be picked and dried, chestnuts to store for winter, olive picking any day soon to start, land of abundance from Ross and Newton Jane Elizabeth. Fantastic. Yes, for sure. Is it parabéns or parabéns? I didn't think I'd get out of this alive. with my pronunciation unchecked there. I'm going to go for parabéns. When you hear people singing it, parabéns a você, I think I'm going to go with the parabéns at the end there, Gianni. But I take my hat off to you. I bow down to you, your superior application and discipline with the language. Next time we got Philomena on, we'll ask. And we'll also be talking more to, my pleasure, Cindy, by the way, we'll be talking more to Mia Ejmeresh, who is a great teacher with a fantastic online program. I've given you the link for that before. Maybe I should pop it up again on the page as well later today. We will talk to Mia. I think we'll probably have some hour-long sessions with Mia Ejmeresh on one of the evening shows so that we can really get to work on this Portuguese, which we must do in terms of the language. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Lisa, you made my day there. And we'll see you tonight with what would normally be the Portugal show, which features Portuguese positive news and a bit of a gathering place for our happy homesteaders. We kind of touched on it this morning, didn't we? You know, that the land of abundance, people come here to live a more natural life or a life more in tune with nature. Sounded like that's what Laura was doing in Goish, you know, getting involved at community level, building your social capital. While the globalized world seems to be going crazy, the trend for a lot of people in Portugal is to be living a more natural, local life. You know, something, not a new normal, like an old normal, like a prehistoric normal almost, you know, before modernity and some of its worst effects. Plus the benefits that we've accumulated of modernity. What an amazing hybrid that is, you know, old Portugal with a few added benefits like Wi-Fi, which makes this possible, for example, and some of the alleged labor-saving devices. The jury's out on those, isn't it? But this is a wonderful thing. There's a growing number of happy homesteaders in Portugal. That's where my heart is with all of this, and that's what we're trying to do here in Portugal. And I can't even remember why I'm saying this now. No, I've completely lost my thread. Oh yes, tonight. Happy homesteaders, Portuguese positive news. A bit of a gathering point on a Tuesday night for such folks wanting to I know every day is a gathering point for people of such a sensibility, but Tuesday especially with Donna Jacqueline, our expat elder, our granny. She's our grandma. She is the grandma of this community with her warmth and wisdom and her advice and her presence. She's a really calming and lovely presence to be around. She joins us on a Tuesday every week from 10 o'clock Lisbon time. And tonight, I've sprung upon her this idea that we're doing a bit of election coverage because, like it or loathe it, what's going on in America, I think will have will send reverberations, and I think we need to be there for our American brothers and sisters with this crazy time they're going through. So we will be around commenting, talking about that, offering, I suppose, support and commiserations to those who feel like they've lost out, maybe giving them a different view on, it's not, it's not, I know election time, and with Brexit and all these big world events, people invest a hell of a lot of their energy and consciousness in these things, don't they? And end up very upset. And I think it's at times like those we need to maybe remind people, if we can, in a sensitive, sympathetic way, actually there is a bit more to life than that as well. Although the effects of it can be very significant and serious. It's so good at those times, isn't it, to open your heart up a bit more, open your mind up a bit more, lick your wounds, but move on and see that, there is a bigger context as well in which, the world is actually, or can be a loving and good place to be if we detach a little bit from those political preoccupations and, those horrible polar situations of left versus right and red versus blue, because we are behind all of that. We are one, we can unite with each other on an entirely different basis. So I imagine, to cut a long story short, that's probably what Donna Jacqueline will be reminding people to do tonight. Do join us for that, for our election coverage tonight and tomorrow night for the American presidential election. Have a splendid day, says Dominic. You too, igualmente. To you. Will it be live on YouTube this evening? It absolutely will be, Louise. Do join us for that. And it is, so with an accent on the parabéns. Yeah, I think it is the if it's not an accent on there, I think that's the sound I hear, Gianni, I have to say. And Brian says, amen, brother, to that. Yeah, I think, the bigger picture beyond the politics. And I'm not meaning to lessen people's disappointment and their feelings or anything like that. I'm not being a virtue signaling hippie or a naysayer or a Pollyanna or anything like that. I totally get it, how important it is to people. And I want to make the additional invitation or awareness there that all of this happens in a bigger picture in which we can share and be united and be at one with each other rather than at each other, which seems to be the case so often. If you have a particular worldview, if like me, you watch a lot of news, you could so easily end up with that view that we're at each other. But beyond that, when the chips are down, we just see the best of people often, don't we? And then the question is, why do we have to wait until the chips are down? And I'll leave that philosophical poser with you. Why is it that only the best comes out of us when the chips are down? Why don't we move that forward a bit? Take care, folks. And a late bon dia from Rita Radonis. Good morning to you, Rita. Take care, bon dia. Ciao, ciao. Abraços, beijinhos. Até a próxima. Até já. Até logo.